Hare Krishna, Shava Mataji, you're on the mute. Hare Krishna, Shava Mataji.
Krishna Prabhu, can you hear me?
Yes, Mataji, we can hear you now. Thank you.
Om Ajnanatimirantasya Jnananjana Shalagya Chachuruthmilidam Vena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Today I'm going to read the book Japa 9 Keys from the Shishtashtaka by Gurjan Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Note the respective absorption of the young woman and the Brahmana. When one is in love, absorption in the object of love is so deep that, practically speaking, nothing else exists. In Sanskrit, such absorption or attachment is called raga. As the Haribhakti Vilasa states, the holy name of Krishna is the highest benediction. It can award everything we desire in spiritual life. If we seek deep absorption in Krishna, we must become attached to chanting his names. Such attachment develops from attentively hearing the name of the one we wish to love. As our attachment increases, then everything the Shastra has promised will come true. We want pure devotion, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's gift to us, but we cannot jump to such high consciousness without going through the process to attain it. We must begin with the foundational practices. The holy name is the eternal fruit of transcendental knowledge of the tree of the entire scriptures. O best of the Bhargavas, O Bhrugumuni, if anyone chants Lord Krishna's name just once without offense, whether he chants with faith or indifference, the holy name immediately liberates him. Hari Bhakti Vilasa 11.234. The simplicity of the task. Touch your consciousness to the sound of the name. Simply touch the transcendental sound vibration with your mind and heart. Krishna's name is spiritual and not of this world. Golokera Premadhana Harinama Sankirtana. Take yourself and Krishna in the form of his holy name and bring them together. All that's needed to accomplish this task is a tongue and an ear. That the risk is easy does not imply that we don't have to work to control the unruly mind. Despite the struggle, however, bringing ourselves to Sri Krishna's feet is the simplest and most natural thing we can do. Chapter 7, More on the Mind. Devotees often become more aware of the mind's rebellious nature when they try this one mantra approach. The mind doesn't only tend to wander, they notice, but it comments on what they are redoing at every moment. Perhaps it starts with encouragement. You are doing well now. You are probably the best chanter around. 2 minutes later, it might present the opposite. You are chanting terrible. It can feel like a battle to keep the mind on track. But the moment we listen to the holy name, we are present with Krishna. At other times, the mind will convince us that we are bored. We are chanting, but we are wondering whether it's time to take prasad. What time is it anyway? Wherever the mind wanders, whether into gross or subtle distractions, our determination and mission should be to listen to one Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Both boredom and All the distracting irritations we experience in a day are functions of the mind, and tasting such distractions is the mind's business. Have you noticed that what bores or disturbs you today may bring you pleasure tomorrow? This means that it is not the activity itself that is causing the feeling. Rather, the mind is engaged in whimsical sankalpa vikalpa behavior. The only way to cure the mind's distractedness is to become determined to listen to Krishna's name. The mind is like a small child, naughty, crafty, and demanding of attention. Like a small child, however, it is also easily engaged, and when the engagement is progressive, it becomes focused and peaceful. Because the mind's function is to protect the false ego, don't let it become absorbed in things that give rise to pride or envy. The mind is prepared to rise at the least provocation, and this seems especially true while chanting. If we feel we have been insulted, the mind may respond by becoming as disturbed as the ocean on a full moon day, subtly and internally crying out, "How dare you? Don't you know who I am?" It's more likely that we don't know who we are. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches that addressing our identity in truth disallows us from being disturbed. After all, we are only tiny, insignificant servants of Krishna. Of course, the mind will never agree to this self assessment like a 2-year-old child in a toy store. The disturbed mind grabs onto things and doesn't want to release them. The Bhagavad Gita explains the mind's workings. While contemplating the object of the senses, a person develops attachment for them. And from such attachment, lust develops, and from lust, anger arises. The mind is constantly bombarded by sensory images and becomes attached and averse to them. There is no peace for those who see themselves as a center of existence, as the enjoyers of this world. The avoiding of this illusory self concept is the self specific function of the false ego. We are not the identity that the false ego has designated us to be. Therefore, whatever illusion the mind fixes itself on in relation to this illusion has nothing to do with us. The real self, who we are in our eternal identity with Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, the summary of this reading is it focuses on the importance of focused chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra as a path to spiritual absorption, which is called raga. It focuses on the required devotion for chanting, as if your object of love is so deep that nothing exists. The test highlights that even a single offense-free chanting of Krishna's name can lead to liberation, regardless of one's initial faith. The process involves consciously connecting the mind and heart to the transcendental sound of the holy name. Then it talks about touching the transcendental sound with our mind. It acknowledges the challenges of controlling the mind during chanting. The mind tends to wander, judge, and create distractions like a monkey, thus leading to feelings of boredom or agitation. It explains that these fluctuations are due to the mind's whimsical nature, sankalpa, vikalpa, and its role in protecting the false ego. The solution lies in consistent and determined listening to Krishna's name, treating the mind like a naughty child that needs gentle guidance and engaging it in a positive way. Our mission is to listen to the transcendental vibration The text advises against indulging the mind's desires for pride, envy, or sensory gratification, as those reinforce the false ego and hinder spiritual progress. It reiterates that true identity lies in being a humble servant of Krishna, Jivere Swarupe Krishnena Nityadas, a realization that can only be achieved by neglecting the mind's demands and training it to follow the soul's directives. Hare Krishna.